Dozens of birds have been found dead or injured in New Zealand with Christmas decorations tied around their necks and wings. Sparrows and pigeons have been reported with decorative trinkets tied to them in Wellington. Some of them died of starvation, as they are unable to fly and find food, according to the SPCA. Although there have been similar incidents since 2015, there has been a spike in sightings in recent weeks. Authorities believe the birds are being deliberately decorated, as the tinsel and boughs are tightly and carefully attached. The New Zealand Herald reported, many try to pry the foreign objects off their bodies with their beaks and feet, becoming further entangled and preventing them from eating, drinking and flying. With others, the decorations are wrapped so tightly it completely cuts off their blood circulation. Those that do survive and arrive at our center are always in a very bad state, and are so malnourished and distressed that we have had to humanely euthanize them. SPCA spokesperson Paige Jensen said in an email to the BBC. According to Ms. Jensen, there have been several reported cases of decorated birds since 2015. However, the number of sightings has increased over the Christmas and New Year period. We received around 30 calls alone just over this period. There were multiple sightings of a dozen birds that are still mobile and flying around the Killarney area that we are unable to reach, she said. SPCA Wellington is looking for the suspect behind this case of cruelty, and last week put out a plea to the public to come forward with any information. In a breakthrough on Tuesday, the group rescued 7 decorated pigeons from a property in the eastern suburb of Killarney in Wellington, but SPCA is continuing their investigation and is still encouraging members of the public to come forward with any information. The pigeons were found to have been in a distressed but healthy condition. Some of the rescued pigeons were also painted the same color as the tinsel tied around them. One pigeon had quite bright red Christmas tinsel wrapped around its wings, and then the top of its head had been painted with red paint, as well as its wings had been tipped with red paint. The New Zealand Herald quoted SPCA Regional Manager for the Central Region Ross Elsford as saying, "A popular tourist attraction has become the latest Chinese company to show solidarity with Huawei's Chief Finance Officer, Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Canada on 1 December. Shannon Mountain Scenic Park in Eastern Hainan Province said it would waive the $9.40 65 yuan ticket fee for anyone carrying a Huawei phone. Ms. Meng, who was given bail in Canada, faces extradition to the United States on charges of breaking Iran sanctions. Her case has upped tensions with China. U.S. Huawei phones shoot grand photos on the mountain. A notice on the Shannon Park's social media account said, "We wish friends around the world who support Huawei success in bliss." The offer would last until 29 December, the South China Morning Post reported, but it was met with some criticism among China's social media users, who claimed it was discriminatory. Huawei phone owners are being offered other enticements too. They can get a 20% discount at a bar in Beijing. Seen in Beijing, bring a Huawei phone and get 20% off. Similar to this story we covered yesterday, https://t CoQXL1IYPQL pic Twitter, com Soccer Love. End of Twitter post by @LuoShunji. At least one firm has threatened to penalize anyone buying Apple products. A few days ago, Manpada Shenzhen, based Legend display manufacturer, offered subsidies to any employees buying Huawei phones. It also pledged to fine anyone who bought an Apple iPhone. United States prosecutors alleged Ms. May 46 used a Huawei subsidiary called Skycom to evade sanctions on Iran between 2009 and 2014. They also allege she publicly misrepresented Skycom as being a separate company from Huawei, and that she deceived banks about the true relationship between the two companies. Ms. Meng, who is the daughter of Huawei's founder, has denied any wrongdoing and said she will contest the allegations. Life of Huawei's high-flying heiress. The United States has been investigating the Chinese telecoms giant, the world's second-largest smartphone maker, since 2016, believing that it used Skycom to bring the United States manufacturing equipment and millions of dollars in transactions to Iran in violation of sanctions. Ms. Meng's detention comes amid an increasingly acrimonious trade dispute between Washington and Beijing. China is angry at her detention, saying she has not violated any laws. Beijing has threatened severe consequences unless Canada releases the executive. Since her arrest, 2 Canadians, a former diplomat, and a businessman have been detained in China on suspicion of harming national security. United States President Donald Trump said last week that he might intervene in the United States Justice Department's case against Ms. Meng if it would serve national security interests or help achieve a trade deal with China. If I think it's good for what will be certainly the largest trade deal ever made, which is a very important thing, what's good for national security, I would certainly intervene if I thought it was necessary, he told Reuters news agency. Canada reacted by urging Mr. Trump not to politicize the situation. Our extradition partners should not seek to politicize the extradition process or use it for ends other than the pursuit of justice, Foreign Minister Christy Freeland said. 2 Scandinavian women tourists have been found dead in Morocco, with kids to their necks, the country's interior ministry said. Both bodies were found near the town of Inlia in the high Atlas mountain range, near the foot of North Africa's highest peak, Mount Dabco. The women, from Denmark and Norway respectively, have not yet been named. A police investigation has been launched into their deaths, the Interior Ministry statement said. 2 Scandinavian women tourists have been found dead in Morocco, with kids to their necks, the country's Interior Ministry said. Both bodies were found near the town of Inlia in the high Atlas mountain range, near the foot of North Africa's highest peak, Mount Dabco. The women, from Denmark and Norway respectively, have not yet been named. A police investigation has been launched into their deaths, the Interior Ministry statement said. A popular tourist attraction has become the latest Chinese company to show solidarity with Huawei's chief finance officer, Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Canada on 1 December. Shannon Mountain Scenic Park in eastern Henan Province said it would waive the $9.40 65 yuan ticket fee for anyone carrying a Huawei phone. Ms. Meng, who was given bail in Canada, faces extradition to the United States on charges of breaking Iran sanctions. Her case has upped tensions with China. Use Huawei phones. Shoot grand photos on the mountain. A notice on the Shan'an Park's social media account said, "We wish friends around the world who support Huawei success in bliss." The offer would last until 29 December, the South China Morning Post reported, but it was met with some criticism among China's social media users, who claimed it was discriminatory. Huawei phone owners are being offered other enticements too. They can get a 20% discount at a bar in Beijing. Seen in Beijing, bring a Huawei phone and get 20% off. Similar to this story, we covered yesterday https://t://QQXL1IYPQL pic. Twitter.